Hey guys, I am Game Advisor and welcome back to another Back 4 Blood video. Today we're going to be talking about an SMG build that can be used in Veteran and yes, in Nightmare with some certain tweaks. So let's go ahead and get started. The first card we're going to be using today is going to be Admin Reload along with Cookie. Cookie is also a very good tool, and yes, I know it doesn't say Cookie, but this is YouTube algorithm, so we're going to say Cookie. When you use these two cards together, it allows you to swap your weapons very quickly as well as reload them whenever they're stowed, so that way you don't have to spend time reloading pretty much whatsoever. Considering we're going to be running a pistol as well as an SMG with this build, as you see when we start using some of the later cards, it all starts to blend together really well. Up next is going to be Heavy Hitter. Heavy Hitter right now is incredibly OP. It allows you to one-shot any normal zombie with just a regular punch, and you should be using it in probably every single deck until it doesn't allow you to one-shot every single zombie you come across. After that is Shredder, which is incredibly useful with our high fire rate with SMGs. This makes it so whenever you hit an enemy, it will take 1% increased damage up to 15% for 3 seconds, and yes, it does stack. This is very powerful because it increases your entire team's damage whenever you're dealing with a special or a boss by quite a significant margin. So I highly recommend you run this anytime you're using an SMG build. After that, we have Mag Carrier, which is going to give us 10% increased damage with pistols and SMGs, and since we're going to be using both of those weapon types, it's even more powerful. It also gives us pistol and SMG ammo capacity, so that's another thing to keep in mind, and it's always useful considering SMGs tend to burn through ammo quite quickly. Moving on, we have Silver Bullet. Silver Bullets, yes, does have a negative effect where it causes you to lose 5 copper every time you kill a special enemy. However, it's going to give you 10% bullet damage, which multiplies separately from all the other damage types. This is very useful, and I will break this down in a future video, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that video about how damage works and a breakdown of each damage type. Moving on is Hyper Focused. Yes, it does cause ADS move speed loss, but the 50% weak spot damage is just too powerful to pass up on, so we're going to be taking that to increase our damage to specials anytime we happen to run across them. Moving on is Breakout. Breakout is always a good card. It's going to allow you to get out of any grab. If you didn't already know, this card is very powerful and is usually ran in just about any deck. You could even run it further up if you're playing on Nightmare mode, where it becomes even more important. After that is Speed Demon, which gives us 6% move speed whenever we're using an SMG, which we'll be using pretty much all the time, as well as 35% reload speed while using an SMG. This basically causes you to do about 35% more damage on top of getting extra mobility. Now, as we start moving into these bottom few cards, do note that a lot of these can be switched out for alternatives. This is just my personal liking and how I like to build it, but it really depends on how you like to play the game and the difficulty you plan on playing it on. For me, I like Marked for Death because it gives us 10% increased damage to anything you mark with Q that is a mutation. Again, very powerful, it just helps everybody on the team burn down that target even faster. Moving on is Reckless Strategy. This is just going to give us another 30% weak spot damage, and the 5% damage resistance really isn't too big of a deal, so it's really useful when it comes to burning down those specials, as well as when you're DPSing any bosses whatsoever. Bosses take huge amounts of weak spot damage, so if you plan on being one of the boss killers in your group, this is going to help out quite a bit. After that is Hellfire, which is going to give us 45% move speed while firing and 5% whenever we're not, to a grand total of 11% move speed at all times, while getting up to 51% while we're moving. Pair this with Run and Gun here at the bottom, and you've got quite the deadly combo. You can then sprint while firing and getting 51% move speed. This allows you to do insanely quick levels, so do keep this in mind as an option if you're trying to run some kind of hybrid speedrun strategy or something here. This can be a way that you might want to go for it. However, if you don't care too much about move speed, it's not that valuable of a card, but personally I find a lot of value in it, so I always recommend people take it. Moving on is Large Caliber Rounds. Again, this could be moved up in the list somewhere if we wanted just more DPS. It's just going to give us extra bullet damage and bullet penetration with a small stamina efficiency loss. Not really a big loss either, and it's totally worth the amount of damage you get. Finally is Superior Cardio. This is going to give us 20% stamina, 20% sprint efficiency, and plus 5 HP. We really don't care too much about the HP. What we really care about is that 20% stamina and sprint efficiency. This is going to allow us to get through levels safer, dodge special attacks easier, and get away from bosses when we need to. It also will allow us to dodge the big hordes if we start getting collapsed on by a large group, or whenever a large horde is called through birds or a vehicle. Of course, this list does have some other cards that could be implemented into it, such as using Down in Front, which will prevent you from taking damage whenever somebody shoots you in the back as long as you're crouched, or you from doing damage when you are crouched to your allies. There are a lot of different cards that can be put in here that do work very well on Nightmare Nightmare mode, and some in here may not work perfect for Nightmare mode. That's why I encourage you for these bottom 6 cards here to really feel like you can switch them out. You can also move these cards around a bit. The biggest and most important thing I would say though are these first 5, as they are incredibly powerful and vital to the way we're going to be playing this build. So after this, feel free to move these cards around to whatever is your liking. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Game Advisor. I hope you found this informative, and I encourage you to subscribe and click that bell if you want to see more Back 4 Blood content. We put out new videos all the time, as well as videos on different games and reviews. Thank you so much for watching once again. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.